Hugh Donnelly, Leitrim Ladies manager. Tough day at the office today. What lessons do you take out of a defeat like today?
Yeah, look, it was always going to be a massive challenge, and you know, on occasions today we didn't help ourselves with some of the decisions we made. But look, it's like everything else. We'll go back now and analyse the game. The intensity that you know that Meath brought to the table is something that again we haven't experienced, and it's going to be very hard to replicate that kind of level of intensity at training. So it's all stuff that we have to look at, and listen, we'll go back to the drawing board now tomorrow, and we'll start doing the analysis process, and we'll take it from there.
I know during the week we had a quick conversation about the game, and we talked about some of the debutants that were coming into that, and there was a lot of new faces who hadn't been in a senior jersey or an adult jersey for Leitrim before. Are you happy with what they brought to the equation today?
Well, it was always going to be a baptism in the fire for some of them, and I suppose again to come up against you know, the Meath outfit that's there was always going to be a challenge. But look, listen, again, I'm more than happy with the account that they give, coming up against a team like that, and probably the way that we had our maybe set up and line out and things like that, and it maybe took away from some of their own games. But at the end of the day, it's look, we knew what we're up against, and it was a case of adapting their game to suit them, and look, I'm more than happy with the effort given.
I suppose the way the structure is that only one team gets promoted out of this grade every year. Meath have been that number 2 position, so in some, I suppose, strands of the game you call them the second best team in this division over the last 2 or 3 years. How much can you read into actually the opposition today as well as at this grade, because they are probably the best team in this grade over the last period of time?
Yeah, most definitely, and you can see that their movement and their speed of thought, their intensity, everything they do is done really well. And I suppose that's where we're Leitrim Ladies, we have to try and aspire to and ingrain into us and our style of play and how we do things. So, but you know, they're I suppose they're there on merit where they are, and they're going to be very hard to beat this year. So look, we wish them all the best going forward. The way that the fixtures were, it maybe could be done with being tweaked, and allowing the seeded team maybe, or the unseeded teams for example, get their game under their belt first, because it was do or die for us. There was, you know, although not only were we up against a really good Meath team, we had to win to keep our championship chances alive. So on that front, you know, if ourselves and Down would have played first, that would have given one of the 2 teams an emphasis going forward to play, you know, Meath in the second game, etc. So look, listen, it is what it is. We'll go back, we'll learn from it, and we'll apply that training now on Wednesday night.
I suppose that down game that you spoke about, we've spoken to Claire about it already in terms of the motivation for that game. It's almost a dead rubber. It does give you a chance to look at players though.
Almost definitely, and not only that, but you know, to finish second in the group is also motivation there as well. But most definitely, you know, that's why we carry such a large panel. It's an opportunity, and not only that, Down's not a bad team either. Down our season, and Down, if the leagues would have finished this year, Down would have probably been promoted as well, so they would have been up into Division 2. So again, it's going to be another mammoth challenge, but that's what we aspire to. We want to be playing better teams. We want to be playing at that standard. So we'll go out and we'll treat it like a championship game, and hopefully we'll get the right side of the result this time.
In terms of the matchups today, not a lot really wrong in terms of the matchups, but just physically looking at some of their players versus some of our players, the strength, the power just seem to be that couple of years further down the line in terms of strength and conditioning. What is your management team, I suppose, proposing to do over the winter? We might talk about this again next week, but in terms of the winter, what's the plan to move our girls on to that level? If Meath are the bar that you're aiming for to win an intermediate championship down the road?
Yeah, well look, the structure are in place unfortunately for COVID and level 5, you know, gym attendances and stuff is very limited now and things like that, so our preparation has definitely took a bit of a knock. But this is, and I made this very clear when I took on the post, this is a bigger picture. It's a long-term project. We're not going to reach you know, intermediate All-Ireland success overnight. It's going to take work, it's going to take discipline, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and look, we will get there. As I said, we are going to use this competition, you know, as a stepping stone, and that's no disrespect to the competition, but we knew that we, you know, weren't going to get prepared the way that we would have liked to be preparing for the All Ireland. But look, it is what it is, and we'll go play Down next week, and we'll sit down with the players and we'll have a chat, and then we'll take next season then.
Listen, thanks very much for having a chat with us. Hard luck on the result today, but I suppose some green shoots for Leitrim Ladies going forward.
Oh yeah, look, the potential not only in that squad but in Leitrim in general is fantastic. And as I said, the panel has changed ever so slightly since the start of the National League this year, and it may change again. So look, at the end of the day, there's potential there. It's a case of now just I suppose putting the wheel to the shoulder to the wheel, and I suppose it's our own destiny. In a sense, the actions and decisions that we take will allow where Leitrim Ladies progress to. So it's in our own hands basically.
Thanks very much.
No bother. Thanks, Brendan.